It was Benjamin Franklin who said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And what he meant was that success doesn't just happen by accident. It takes planning, knowing where you are heading, and knowing how you're going to get there. In this video, I'm going to show you how to plan your business for the next 12 months, show you what KPIs you need to track, and give you a copy of my business plan template so you can have the best year yet. And more to the point, a year that feels a lot less overwhelming as you have a map to steer you towards your desired result rather than a hope and a panic every single week. You see, there's three different types of people when it comes down to writing a business plan. One, those who don't write business plans. Two, those who write business plans in the month of December, but past February, they never look at it again. And three, those who write a business plan with logic, any emotion that fires them up, and they waited all year long, and they track it all year long, and they hit 80% of their business plan numbers as a minimum. 4 years ago, I started my first business, and I started with absolutely nothing. I don't just mean I started with little money. I had no idea how to invest in property, but I knew I wanted to do it, and that was good enough for me to try. It's tough to build something successful. We don't even know what you're trying to build at the beginning, really. After working for myself for several years, I finally got around to coming up with a plan. It was messy, it took me forever to write, and honestly, not really that useful of a document. But the process of writing the plan allowed me to create a lot of clarity for myself about what my objectives were for the business and how I would reach them within the next few years. I'm more than double the size of my business year on year, hiring staff to eventually run it for me and tracking thousands of customers and payments. Since that time, I've written quite a few business plans for my own companies and for my clients. And at this point, I've developed a system to streamline the entire process, not only making it faster and simpler, but also way more useful and in a practical way to ensure you achieve your targets each and every year. If you want to get your business organized and start strategically increasing your profit and growing towards your goals, then keep on watching. This business plan has 6 main sections, and I'd recommend that you start by scribbling your ideas on the ideas section of the template, which you can download for free using the link in the description. What I would recommend is to watch the video all the way through, get an idea of the structure, and then naturally your mind will start thinking about what you're going to put in each section. Then download the template and come back to the video. Using the chapters element, you can go to each section, rewatch it, pause, and complete your plan. Once you've got your ideas worked out, you can create a cohesive document which will be your master plan for the next 12 months. Number 1 will be an overview. 2 will be your message, 3 marketing, 4 product, 5 production and delivery, and finally 6 your goals. And then we will wrap up some tracking metrics and numbers around it to ensure it's a profitable venture and the activity is measurable, realistic and attainable. The first page of your business plan will be an overview. It's going to give a basic understanding of what your company does and the structure of your company. You want to include your business name, your company structure, the location where you do business, and also a brief description of exactly what your company actually does. The next piece of information for your company's overview is your company's mission. And this is really important because it's the driving force behind your business plan. I also want you to include here why you're on this mission. Why are you going to bust your gut every day to make this happen? What's the driver? Because let me tell you, being self-employed and building businesses in the first few years means you're going to be working bloody hard. If you think a 9-to-5 job is hard, then you're about to get a wake-up call. The only benefit of doing it for yourself is that you are passionate about what you are doing, so it never feels like a job or a chore. You actually want to do it for 16 hours a day, 7 hours a week. If you don't have a mission, it's like trying to make plans to reach a goal without having a goal, so make sure you don't skip this step. The final component of the overview page is your chart of accountability. Now, this chart describes who is accountable for which of the major tasks involved in running the business, and the 3 main areas of accountability of most businesses are marketing, sales, and operations. The second page of your business plan will focus on outlining your company's message. It's really important that if you want the business to be successful, you have a clear idea of what message you are working to communicate to your customers and who are those customers. How do you fit into their lives? What problems do you solve for them? What results are they looking for? Side note on this, if you can sell towards solving a problem rather than creating a pleasure, you will sell more. People are more inclined to purchase something that helps them move away from pain versus towards pleasure. Difficult one to do if you're in the hospitality industry like myself, but there are problems travelers face that your company can solve and market towards. For example, ease of booking, finding an expensive accommodation that offers amenities like a home, etc. On this page of your business plan, include what problem does your company solve for your customers? What results is your company creating for those customers? How does your company create those results? Who does your company serve? Why do you do what you do? Why should your customers choose you over your competition? And then finally, what is your company's step-by-step plan for bringing those results to the customer? What is your proprietary system? This both helps to answer the question what sets you apart from your competition And it also shows your customers how you're going to create those results that you're promising, which will give them much greater confidence in your ability to create those results. Okay, now let's move on and talk about the third page of your business plan. This page focuses on marketing and generating sales. First of all, you want to find your target market by their demographic attributes such as their age, their income, where they live, what are their interests, their desires, and their fears. Here you'll also want to include an estimated size of your target market, and even more than that, this is where you have identified that you can find groups of those target customers. And here's a little big hint. If you haven't yet figured out where you can find groups of those customers via online or offline, you're probably going to have trouble successfully marketing your product or services that you sell. So if you come to this part in the business plan and you don't know what to put here, you're probably going to struggle to sell your product or service. For example, in my industry, I can choose a city or town, for example, Newcastle upon Tyne, go to Airbnb and search for a stay. If there are several hundred or thousands of properties doing what I want to do, then it means it works. The next problem is, how do I not only compete, but thrive in a busy market? But I'll come to that shortly as we continue to build this business plan out. 3 valuable pieces of information that I recommend you include at this stage of your business plan is visibility strategy, which explains how people will first learn about your brand and about your products. Your lead generation strategy, which explains how you will open up conversations with potential buyers. And then finally, your conversion strategy, which is essentially your sales strategy. How are you going to turn those leads into paying customers? Now, one thing is, I don't want you to get stressed, as it's more than likely you won't know the answers to all these questions and you won't have all these things figured out just yet, and that's okay. Working through the document, they're building out metrics, which we'll come on to shortly in the video, will ensure by the end you have a roadmap to success in your hand. One of the main purposes of writing your business plan is to become aware of those things that you haven't thought about yet, or what you don't know and need to find out. So don't put off the business plan because you don't know everything yet, but rather write the business plan so that you can get very clear on exactly what to do now and what you need to figure out. Now, let's move on to the 4th page of the business plan. This page describes the product or services that you sell. And just so we're clear here, a product could be a physical or non-physical product, a digital product, or a service. For example, I sell a product which is a night stay in one of my properties, but I also sell a service which is managing the day-to-day of an Airbnb operation on behalf of a landlord who wants to offer their property to guests but does not want to deal with the hassle. For ease, I will use the word product in a general sense on this page. I highly recommend that you choose just one product as your business primary product, especially at the start, and then scale into other areas afterwards. I start with a strategy called rent to rent, which is basically subletting properties for a profit. And then with that profit, I moved into buying properties to host guests in and create wealth. I then expanded into property management for others as I gained the experience. I would not have been able to execute as well on all 3 at the beginning and may have never have succeeded at all had I tried to do so. So focus all your energy into the main idea first, then look to grow and add products afterwards to increase your revenue. Side note on that, adding products does not always increase your revenue. You can also lose money, as I found out, by expanding into the wrong properties in the wrong locations. A tough lesson to learn, but thankfully I made it through and the business is stronger for it. You might sell several different things, you might even sell hundreds of different things, but tune into what the main product is that your marketing message is going to be set around and really try to structure your business around selling. 80% of your time should be spent on sales and marketing your business, generating leads and collecting cash. These 2 elements work hand in hand and will be the single reason you either fail or succeed. It will be much easier if you have one product that is the focus at this stage of the business plan. Start by first identifying what the product is and then describing the result the product creates. What problem does this product solve? What are the benefits of purchasing it? After describing the result, describe the impact the product creates. This is different from the results itself. How does someone's life get impacted by your product? If you can relate it to their health, wealth, or relationships, you will be onto a winner, as people buy with emotion over logic more times than not. And these are the 3 biggest emotional drivers we as human beings have. For example, how do we sell a luxury stay in one of my apartments in Dubai? Do we talk about the TV make or the balcony furniture brand? Of course not. We tap into the experience and paint a picture of the pain they are trying to avoid, escaping the 9-to-5 grind for most, and the pleasure they will receive when experiencing our services. The sunrise coffee overlooking the ocean, the tranquil walks down the white sandy beaches, the vibrant nightlife with the world's best eateries, all of which create a relaxing stay, escaping from the hectic day-to-day life to recharge your batteries. By just giving you my marketing pitch for one apartment, we've already identified many benefits of the service: relaxing, stress relief, escaping the grind, elevating your mood, creating memories and happiness. Now, if you look at any examples of business plans in the past or read a guide on how to write a business plan, you might have seen a section that focuses on projections. So sales projections or new customer acquisitions or market share projections. And if you've tried to write a business plan in the past and you've tried to write that section, you may have found it very difficult. And the chances are that because you're running a small business, or maybe you've just started your business, it's really difficult to make accurate projections, or projections at all for that matter, if you don't have any data to base them on. And that's why I recommend that if you're just starting your company or you've only been in business for a couple of years, that instead of trying to create projections, you instead simply set realistic targets. However, the numbers drive everything, and it is the most important part of building any business plan, as you will refer back to it every week to ensure you're on track, or if you fall off track, at least you know and you can do something about it. I don't advocate making any targets longer than 12 months. Crazy shit happens in business and you need to adapt all the time. So focus on the next 12 months ahead, smash your targets and redo this exercise for the next 12 months. Repeat this every year and you will build an empire. The main elements of your projections are your sales, your costs and your activity. I like to start with what I want to achieve for the next 12 months and start putting that onto a spreadsheet. Typically, how many properties I want to purchase, how many management contracts we want to sign up, and how many guests we need to host, or average income per property per month from the guests. Basically, where are you going to get your revenue from and how much revenue do you want? Now, we all want millions, but we have to be realistic so we achieve our targets. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. I like to then work out the activity that is required to achieve the revenue. It is a lot easier to do this if you have history. For example, I know that we attended 35 viewings to agree one property purchase on average in 2023. If I want to buy 30 properties in 2024, I need my team to attend 1,050 viewings. If I assume each viewing, including researching it, booking it in, drive time, etc., it takes 3 hours. I need 3,150 hours of manpower. Assuming a deal sourcer will do 40 hours a week or 1,920 per year, including time off for holiday, I'm going to need 1.5 to 2 full-time deal sources in my team to ensure I achieve this goal. Using this information, I am then able to start building out my costs. Before we come on to the cost consideration, I want you to stay focused on the activity side, as ultimately this will be the driving force behind your daily activity to ensure your results. Ever heard of leading and lagging indicators? So, a lagging indicator is typically the result, i.e. one property purchased, whereas the leading indicator is the activity to get the result, i.e. the number of viewings. Your business plan should have these leading and lagging indicators throughout, and they should be monitored weekly to ensure you are on track. This goes as deep as you can, but try not to overcomplicate things. You want indicators for all departments that will have an impact on the end result. Marketing and operations are included in that. For example, how many emails do we need to send out to generate 100 leads if we know 100 leads results in 2 sales? When you have data, it's nothing more than a numbers game, and can you afford the manpower to achieve the result? If this is your first year in business and you have no data, then jump onto Google and it will give you averages. I always say, ask good questions and you will get good answers. This is no different with Google. For example, you could ask, what is the average response rate for an email campaign in the real estate industry? Then you might ask, what is the average closing rate from a lead in the real estate industry? Those 2 questions have just given you a base data point to use for your business plan to find out how many emails you need to send to achieve a sale. A little tip here, as you have no brand presence yet, I would reduce the success rate slightly, as you will not achieve the same as an established business typically. Once you have built all your revenue projections and the activity required to achieve those targets, you need to analyze your costs of production. How many staff will you need? What software subscriptions are required? How much marketing spend will be invested to generate the result? So on and so forth. At the bottom of it all, you simply deduct your costs from your sales, and if you are left with a profit, you have a plan to work towards. If you punch your numbers into the template I've given you, your plan will start to come alive and you can then tweak to fit. Whether that's to make more money to increase your profitability, do more yourself to reduce costs, etc. At the end of the process, you want to have a plan that is then tracked. As you can see by my template, I have an actual column and a variance to the plan. Each and every week I sit down with my team. This might just be you at the start like it was for me, and you review the numbers, but this is a must. Where are you on pace? What's tracking at the right pace? What's not tracking at the right pace? How can you get back on track? Think of it this way, and I'm sure you've heard this before. If a ship sails for 52 hours in the wrong direction without checking and it's 2 degrees offline, it's going to end up miles away from the right destination and more than likely never get there anytime soon. If it checks every hour and corrects its course, it will get to the target. Your business is no different, and this is why it is important to analyze the data constantly. It's always important to set specific, measurable goals and to set deadlines for when you're planning to reach them and who is responsible for the actions to achieve those deadlines. As you can see, it's 6 simple pages and you probably already know most of the information that will be going into the business plan already. There are many other pieces of information that you may want to include in your business plan, and of course, you're more than welcome to include any relevant information that describes how you successfully run your business and how you plan to reach your targets. However, my final piece of advice for you is to make sure that you don't overcomplicate things. More words and numbers are not better. In fact, your business plan will be the most useful if you keep it short and relatively simple, because if you write a document that's 20 to 40 or more pages long, chances are high that nobody will ever go back and read it ever again. As I mentioned earlier on, I put a neatly organized outline of this business plan together for you. There's a link in the description below where you can download it for free. If you have any feedback on it, be sure to let me know. I'd recommend that you download it and start filling it in, and to schedule some time on your calendar so that you can actually get around to filling it out, because writing a business plan is one of those things that can have a long-term impact on your business. Because it's not seen as urgent, you might put it off indefinitely. And until you make the time to write your business plan, your business will continue to be disorganized and not as strategic as it could be. Any questions or comments, pop them below. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with at least one person you know might also benefit from it. Till next time, take care.